Christ-focused affirmations for Christian men aiming higher in life. Jesus is the one who chooses me. Again and again, despite the mess, despite the stubbornness, despite my failures, He looks into my eyes and He chooses me every time. When others would walk away, He stays and sits with me. When I would disqualify myself, He calls me His own. And today, I come into alignment with His truth, that I'm not rejected, I'm valued, and my name is known by the Prince of Peace. Jesus is my deliverer. Even when I've stumbled into the pit with my own 2 feet, He does not leave me buried there. He climbs down into the dirt of my choices, into the weight of my regret, and He takes hold of me with a strength that I don't have. And because He's my deliverer, I am no longer defined by that pit, but by the hand that pulled me out. I can breathe again. Not because I found my way out, but because He has come for me. Jesus is so patient with me. He's not in a rush. He's not disappointed that I'm still circling the same mountains. His patience is my shield, protecting me from despair when I stumble again, protecting me from shame when I'm slow to learn. He waits with kindness, teaching me and guiding me step by step. When His patience covers me, I rise, knowing that His love has not grown thin. Jesus is not afraid of my failures. He does not flinch at the mess. He does not recoil at the sight of my weakness. Where I see shame, He sees a canvas for grace. Where I see the end of the road, He sees a beginning that I could never imagine. Because He is unafraid of my failures, I don't have to hide them. I get to bring them to Him and watch how He makes beauty out of the ashes. Jesus is not limited by my old patterns. He's not trapped by the cycles that I can't seem to break. His Spirit does not bow down to my history. It writes a new future, one step, one breath at a time. And because He's not limited, I am not chained forever. Today, I can walk in newness, because He is the God who makes rivers run through deserts and pathways through wastelands. Jesus is my freedom. The chains that I thought were permanent, cycles that I thought were unbreakable in my life, they snap like twigs in His presence. He does not negotiate with my bondage. He destroys it. And because He's my freedom, I am no longer a prisoner of my past. Because today I can step forward as one unshackled, walking in a life that no cage can contain. Jesus is the lifter of my soul. No weight I carry is heavy enough to keep me crushed forever. He leans down into my weariness, and with a gentleness that surprises me, He raises me up. His holiness steadies the anxiety inside, and because He's the lifter of my soul, my spirit can soar again. I can stand, not because I'm strong, but because He blew the dust off my life and He lifts me higher. Jesus is my rescuer. When I wear myself out with striving, when I collapse under the futility of my own strength, He doesn't leave me there. He rushes in and His mercies flow like a raging river through my soul. What I could never accomplish in the flesh, His Spirit accomplishes with one breath. And because He's my rescuer, I don't have to pretend to hold it all together anymore. I can rest in the truth that He alone does the saving. Jesus is the one who calls me. His voice echoes louder than the mocking of my circumstances. His words over my life are more true than the silence that I sit in now. Dreams may fade, reality may sneer, but His call does not vanish. It burns steady, even when I can't see the road ahead. Because He calls me, my life has direction that no detour, no failure, or no delay can erase. Jesus is my strength. My exhaustion does not disqualify me from His presence. It draws me deeper into it. When I collapse, He becomes the breath in my lungs, the firmness under my trembling knees. His power is made perfect here, in the very cracks of my soul. Jesus is faithful to finish what He has started in me. He doesn't abandon His work halfway. He is the author who refuses to leave a story incomplete. He is the builder who never walks away from what He started. And even when I've dropped the pen or let the stones fall from my hands, His faithfulness picks me up where I left off. At least for today, my story is not over. Its pages are still being written by His steady hand. Jesus is holy. Every move He makes in my life carries the weight of eternity. And when He shifts something in me, it's not small. It's unmistakable. It's holy and set apart. Because He is that which is holy. His work in me will not be confused with my confidence or my self-effort. His work is different. It shines so clearly that even my enemies will know that it was God and God alone who moved in my life. Jesus is my shield. Not just against the arrows of the world, but against the sharp edges of myself. He guards me from my own wanderings, from the pull of habits that crave destruction. When my own desires would drag me into the ruin, His shield covers me, so I can stand even when I feel vulnerable, knowing that I am protected by His strength and not my resolve. Jesus is my teacher. Patient beyond measure, He walks at my stumbling pace with me. He's not irritated by my slowness. He's not surprised when I circle around the same mountains over and over again. Instead, Jesus draws near, pointing to a better way, whispering wisdom into the noise, turning even a failure into lessons soaked with grace. And because of this, I learned to walk differently, without the fear of being cast aside. Jesus is my refuge. When resistance greets me, when silence feels deafening, when every effort ends in collapse, He remains my well of life. In His presence, I'm sheltered from despair, held in a love that does not shift with my circumstances. Today I retreat into Him and find peace even when nothing around me seems to have changed. Jesus is my storyteller. He takes the pages that I've torn, the chapters that I've botched, the paragraphs stained with regret, and he weaves redemption through them. Because what I thought was an ending becomes, in his hands, the soil for a beginning that I never imagined. And because he's my storyteller, my past does not disqualify me. My mistakes become the raw material for his glory. Jesus is the one who believes there's more to my story. When I see only the wreckage, he sees the horizon beyond it. When I call myself finished, he calls me forward. So today I borrow his strength and his vision for my life. His belief in me, it's not naive. It's anchored in his very personality. So from his strength, I can rise, knowing that my story is still alive in his hands. Jesus is the mighty hand that lifts me up. He does not merely encourage me from the sidelines. When I set my eyes to him, he actively reaches down into my circumstances and infuses his heavenly reality. No force can resist him. No darkness can hold me when he decides it's time to rise. My life will be a living testimony, not to my effort, but to the glory of the Son. Jesus is my rock. He is my footing. Beneath the fractures of my soul, beneath the trembling of my knees, he is my constant one. He does not shift when I falter. He does not crumble when I collapse. Therefore, I am not lost to my own instability. There is something solid under my feet, something sure that will never be shaken. It's Jesus. In Jesus is my rest. When my thoughts are foggy and my vision blurred, he quiets the storms inside me. He separates my anxiety from his peace. He is not another demand of what I should do. He's not another weight on my shoulders. He is the stillness that lets me catch my breath. I don't have to fight my way into his presence. It's already in me, given to me through his Holy Spirit. The God adventure on my life is challenging me today to seek first his kingdom.